G'day everyone, I'm Smokescreen and welcome back to another video, and here we go with some more daily race action. We're in daily race C from about a month ago, and it is an absolute ridiculous combination in terms of penalties and your sportsmanship rating, otherwise known as SR. I'll refer to it as SR throughout this video, as it's simply easier to say than sportsmanship rating. The combination: we're at Circuit de la Sarthe with no chicane, so you're running the entire Le Ponaudier straight from all the way from Tertre Rouge all the way down to Mulsanne Corner. Ridiculous. So because of that straight, which is 5.7 kilometers long, by the way, you really need to be in the Group C cars to be competitive. Group C cars are known for their absolutely monster top speed, the fastest of which is this car, the Nissan R92 CP. But you see, we get put into a lobby here. I didn't do any practice at all. I actually jumped in and didn't even complete one lap of practice. So we're going into this with no practice, basically no practice, about 2 minutes worth of practice, and let's see how we go. One guy completely bins it going through turn 1. Turn 2, he runs slightly deep, and then on the exit, we just shepherded the guy wide off the track. That was a little bit not good from me. This car understeers a lot, because it's got all that downforce. You get a lot of aero push, where the car just wants to keep going straight because it is in its little area of air pushing around the car, if that kind of makes sense. See, oof, almost can't talk there. Let's start that sentence again. You see on the exit of Tertre Rouge, we're right up behind Snow Smile Per 931. We're too close, in fact, that when we have that clunky gear change, as Snow did, I actually ran into the back of him as he was changing gear, and that just allowed Nana Yona to get in ahead of me coming down the straight here. So this car, you see the top speed, 373 kilometers an hour. Of course, this car does only have 5 gears, as it's an old car. Well, it is from 1992. As I can see on my notes here. It's also got 938 horsepower, by the way. You see, we just drove straight past a modern car there. That is really the difference. You see behind you see they went straight behind. They do not have enough speed on the straight, and they do not even make up enough time through the corners to be able to be viable here. This is Mulsanne Corner now, massive braking zone from top speed into a hairpin. Someone got it a little bit wrong. As you see, they were flying off into the gravel up ahead. But you see on the exit of the corner here, we're all running up through the gears as well. Nana Yona, see how the car just stops on that awkward gear change, just stops accelerating. It's got a H-pattern gearbox, so you're engaging the clutch. Coming up these few turns here, these are turns 15, 16, 17, heading up towards Indianapolis. We're going to run through turn 17. I just back off there, and you want to be on the brakes going through turn 17 in order to pull it up in time for 18. Someone gets it a little bit wrong in the exit of 18, Steve Jessica, and then coming into here, I completely misjudged the braking. That is the consequence of no practice, and force another car off the track, and I get a 2-second penalty for that. Really annoying, but probably deserved. Ran straight into the back of the car ahead, and you see on the exit of here, up behind the Mazda LM55 driven by Bucko, up ahead on the exit of turn 26, we get another half-second penalty to add on to the one we're going to serve. So 2.5 seconds on the best penalty zone. One guy completely forgets to brake and gets teleported back in time, and then someone completely bins it on the exit of the Ford chicanes, turn 32 in this case. We are down to 32 turns on this layout, on this variation of the course, up into 12th position. So the only thing I can be thankful for is that I managed to serve my penalty on the best of the 3 penalty zones, worst of which is halfway down the straight, which absolutely kills your momentum. Second worst is on the exit of Arnage, so right in acceleration zone, and then the third one I served is before the Ford chicane, so you're about to be slowing down anyway, which is why that's the best. Coming through this corner here, get a nice nudge from behind and just end up off circuit there. And if you were watching earlier, he nudged me going through turn 4 as well, so I wasn't able to get onto the power as nicely as I would, and then that means I was slow through, 6 I'm talking about. He nudged me through turn 6, and then I wasn't able to get onto the power going through turn 7 as nicely and as smoothly as I was like. Serves that penalty on the worst penalty zone of the circuit, so that is what he gets. Coming into Mulsanne Corner, almost run into the back of that Mazda there, and there's another 3-second penalty by reverse donut there. He's going to be doing a reverse donut shortly in the penalty zone. and then you see the two modern cars, the LMP1 car and the VGT car, completely lose out in the acceleration zone. That's a Mazda 787B up ahead. I'm just flashing my headlights at him to try and put him off, in case he looks behind. You see I'm catching that Mazda quite quickly, but that there is not an overtaking opportunity. It's a bit of a pinch point. In fact, Mazda gets a little bit wrong, as do I. We're a bit slow on the exit, but he's about to serve that penalty. Brakes really early as well. You see there was multiple stages braking. Absolute savage move from... Oh, man. Absolute savage move from that car just ahead, driven by Masterton. And I get awarded a 1 second penalty for their stupid incident. So this is where we're beginning to see the story of absolutely BS penalties. And of course, when you get awarded a penalty, your sportsmanship rating, or SR, goes down along with it. So it's quite easy to see how a track like this, in cars like these, you can lose SR extremely, extremely quickly, which it is apparent what is happening here. So the car up ahead went for a savage move down the inside on the Mazda, and then just because he touched me on the way off, I get awarded a 1 second penalty. Absolutely terrible. You see, he tries to go up the inside again of the other Nissan up in 8th position, and the Nissan gets a penalty for that. Oh, for crying out loud. So this was recorded about a month ago, right when they were sort of tweaking and going through different stages of the penalty system. It was fine about 8 months, about a year ago. The penalty system, I think, was about the best it could have been in this game, to be completely honest, without a complete redesign. So they should have just left it at that. They did an update and then it was way too strong, and they did another update and it was way too weak. Now they've seemed to have gone back to this, which is absolutely terrible. You see, the Nissan right ahead of me got punted and got the penalty for it. Oh, actually, it's half a second, so I assume maybe he got punted, went off track and got a half second off track penalty, and then I got a 1 second penalty from someone else's incident just because I was slightly grazed halfway through the incident there. So yes, we can quite easily see how these penalties add up to negative SR, basically. So you see he serves a penalty there. We're going to skip ahead to the end of lap 6 here, coming through turn 26 here. I just run a little bit wide, and the car, I've now got a car on my left hand side, got the overlap on the way out. I just back out going through the Corvette curves there, as side by side running into the Ford chicanes. It's not what you want to do, especially seeing as the penalties are what they are. One slight bit of contact and you get a 15 second penalty for absolutely nothing. And so we're going to start the final lap here. The race, look, it could be worse. Remember, I started like 16th or something, but then coming into Mulsanne corner completely, that one, my bad. Oh my goodness, that absolutely terrible. A Mazda gets a 2 second penalty for that. So that, look at this, I don't even get a penalty for this. That is wholehandedly, hands up, deer in the headlights moment, completely my fault. I was just on the brakes way too late, and yeah, completely went into the back of the Mazda, went into the back of the other Nissan, so I ruined quite a good race that they were having. My deepest and most sincerest apologies for such incident. But you see, the Mazda got a 2 second penalty for that. Absolutely ridiculous. I should have got a 2 second penalty, and if I got a penalty, it probably should have been more than 2 seconds. The guy up ahead forgets to brake, and you see he gets reset, transported back in time. And then on the end of the race here, you see we actually caught up to the Mazda. So he served a penalty, and then I was able to catch back up, coming through the Ford chicanes, run very deep into turn 32. And then on the exit here, you see the other guy that got caught up in the incident that I caused. I'm just going to sit up before the line and just wait for him. I had plenty of time to do that. Yeah. So we finished 8th in the end. So the two cars ahead of me, Nana Yona and Abby Rust, they were the two that I completely murdered going into Mulsanne corner, and they ended up still finishing ahead of me. I didn't want to finish ahead of them after that incident, which I'm admittedly extremely and very embarrassed by. By the end of the race, you see we go up 8 positions, so yeah, we started in 16th, so going up 8 positions could be worse, but we're about to see the fruit of the race. We're about to see the consequence of such a terrible penalty system here. So we're going to start another race here at Circuit de la Sarthe with no chicanes. So the no chicanes is what is proving to be the issue here, as the cars are just running way too quick. On pole position, 3:07.5, I have set a lap. You see, Dangle's in second, 3:12.5. I'm in a lower rated lobby. My SR at this point was about 74, so it dropped from 99 to 74 in the course of one race. You see I was SA rated thanks to that, which is a very strange combination to be having, as evident by everyone else who has S-rated DR is normally accompanied by S-rated SR, so I've definitely been on a bit of a punting spree, but hopefully we can redeem ourselves in this race here. This is an opportunity to build our SR back up, having a nice clean race out the front with no fighting here. Off the line, you see all the cars, or most of the cars behind actually get caught up in the chicane at the end of the lap. So another ridiculous thing about this track is a rolling start, more than half the field has to roll through the chicane an extra time at the start of the race. See on the exit of the Dunlop chicane there, I gain out a bit of time, and you see by the end of the race, 25 seconds ahead basically, and we finish the race there with a 3:09.3 or something was the lap I just set there. I didn't quite catch it, I think it was a 3:09.3. You see, I'm going to fast forward, see how long it takes for the guy in second, so have a look there. There we go, 26.6 seconds behind me. So that was the kind of race that was. So at the end there, we got a nice victory. A victory is a victory, but it is a hollow one nevertheless, because I was actually in a lobby that was sort of below my skill level. So pole position, fastest lap, no clean race. Must have got a penalty in there at some point, but we'll move on. Let's see if we can get ourselves back to where we kind of should be at the moment here, as we're going to start the next race. So let's have a look here. We've got a JPS liveried Nissan R92 CP on pole, driven by Harry. Myself in third position. I'm SA rated still, so I think I only went up to 79 SR from that victory there just previously. So we're probably, we're in the mix again. We're going to be fighting at the front, hopefully, as long as you don't bin it. But you see, we're starting right near the chicane here, so it's going to be interesting to see whether we actually get past the end of the chicane before we start the race. So yes, I do not get why we start here. Any track with a chicane at the end, surely we can work something out with these rolling starts, because it's ridiculous. The field just splits up massively as we run through there. Spa is bad as well. Spa is exceptionally bad. It's the run between the last chicane and the finish line is very short, as it is here at Le Mans. As we come through Dunlop chicane here, I get absolutely lunged by the Mazda here, and I got dirt on my tyres, so I can't get the car going. See, 3 massive kicks of oversteers. I'm trying to get onto the power there, but the Dodge SRT Tomahawk Group 1 car behind me just waits up for me instead of trying to sort of force his way past, so thank you very much for that. He also doesn't run into the back of me going through that corner as someone did in the first race, as we head onto the main straight now. Here is going to be interesting. We're going to see a direct comparison between a VGT and a Group C car. You see we're in 4th gear, 300 km an hour, and he's just dropping back. There's absolutely no chance. So thanks to there being no chicanes, the straight is long enough for the Group C cars to come into their own, which is nice to see actually, as in a regular Group 1 race, say at a track, like at a normal regular track with not a 5.7 kilometre long straight, your VGT and your LMP cars are going to be dominant. So it's nice to see that we actually do have a Group C race, technically, even though I believe they should be in their own category, but that is a story for another time. It's a rant for another time. So you see by the end of the lap, we had a very, very poor start. We're about 4 seconds off the lead, and you see by the end of the first lap, we've actually caught back up to the three musketeers up ahead. And speaking of the 3 musketeers, they're now damn, my joke didn't work. I was about to say now they're the 3 stooges with a penalty each, but I didn't realise the guy in second actually doesn't have a penalty at this point here. So let's see if we can get them. Let's see if we can get these positions from up ahead. They're gonna have penalties. Well, they do have penalties. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can actually get these positions as we head down Le Honaudière straight. As about halfway down the straight, there's the absolute killer penalty zone. And as we head through the first sector here, the car just understeering absolutely everywhere. You see through this corner here is exceptionally bad. That's turn 6. This is turn 7. And then into turn 8 is the sort of little kink on the exit. Turn 9 here. And as we head down the straight through turn 10 into the slipstream of the people up ahead. And the thing with this car, it actually tops out Oh, there we go. There's the Three Stooges in first, third, and fourth. Myself with the penalty now. I'm now joined the pair up ahead. So the guy in second is actually in a good position at this point. Now in third, he's in a good position at this point. He's not going to slow down due to a penalty. The rest of us are going to. So it's going to be cool to see whether we can actually remain in slipstream for the rest of the straight and hopefully just kind of reduce our penalty loss. So we're all jumping on the brakes here. The guy with no penalty gets away with it. I make my way past the other two. I think they must have had a 1 second penalty each, as I only had half a second. And by the start of lap 4, I was actually able to keep with Takumi a little bit. The pair behind, or the pair that were behind, have dropped off a little. So Harry 0519 was the pole sitter of the race. He's now 6.1 seconds behind, so his race pace isn't quite there, probably falling victim to penalties, as I am here. But let's see if we can remain in the slipstream here, all the way down the straight. The penalty we just got, we will serve on this lap, I think, as that Turret Rouge is close enough or far enough before the penalty line that we will be able to serve it. Yeah, we are going to serve it. I was just kind of waiting for that yellow notice to come up. But you see we're in the slipstream. It's actually not that effective in this car, as the car kind of tops out on its own anyway, going down the straight. So your slipstream, you're really only going to gain probably 1 or 2 kilometers an hour, which isn't really, you know, it's not that strong, but I think it's kind of good in this particular instance. As we all know, the slipstream in Gran Turismo Sport way too strong compared to real life, so it's kind of nice to see that the slipstream isn't crucial to the race. It's, you know, in real life you're only going to gain a few kilometers an hour. In this game you can gain like 40 kilometers an hour depending on the conditions. So yeah, absolutely ridiculous. So we run very deep going into turn 19, and on the exit I get a massive kick of oversteers. I'm way slower than I normally would be, and that downforce just isn't there for me. We completely drop off Takumi. So, you know, I did skip quite a large portion of that race, but for most of that race I was remaining about 1.8 to 2 seconds behind him, going through the race there, and I just skipped ahead as it was kind of a stalemate between us. Now, you saw that line I just took through Turret Rouge, very much cut the ideal apex, and no penalty, so I should have been taking that line throughout the whole race, you know. So, yes, very questionable track limits. Going down the straight of this lap, lap 5, as we went through the penalty zone, we started gaining massively on the leader, so that tells me that he had a cut track penalty. He's got no cars around him, so it can't be a penalty related to contact. But you see, by the end of the race we're back to 1.5 seconds, so we're probably faster than this guy. It's just that he's putting on quite a good show, considering the, you know, the level here. You see, I actually set a 307.9, which is comparable pace to my qualifying time on 5-lap-old tyres. So yeah, as you can see, as we're going through these races here, we are sort of getting up to speed with the car, with the track. Car very difficult to control as well. As I said, as I mentioned previously, 938 horsepower. Very, very sensitive on the throttle. Going through here much slower than you think you need to be, and then through here is a lift as well, as you want to get onto that power smoothly. Turret Rouge, hopefully we can get through here without a penalty. Onto the power, running onto the curb, that looked okay to me. We're going to be in the slipstream heading down the straight. We're going to fast forward down the straight in the slipstream of Takumi up ahead, 7 tenths behind, 6 tenths behind. It's going to be nearly 5 tenths behind as we head into Mulsanne corner shortly enough. 5 tenths behind it is indeed. As we head into the braking zone, let's see, I am on the brakes a little bit too late, and I just run a bit deep onto the dirt just before the curb, trying to get onto the power to try and keep up with him. Oh, I get a half-second penalty. This is terrible. I did the 3 races around this track on this particular week, but I didn't do any more as I was falling victim to the penalty. So by the end of the race we served the penalty and we were about 2.5 seconds off Takumi. He got the win in the end, and I was quite frustrated with myself, because that would have been a good victory to have if I managed to keep the car under control, but just on the brakes a bit too late. So that's the difficulty of having that massive straight into one of the slowest corners on the circuit. It is a pinch point. You have to be on the brakes way early. You have to nail your braking point. But we'll bring a second place home. We got the fastest lap in the end, so, you know, what more can you ask for except a victory? My sportsmanship rating went up to about 80, 84 or something by the end of that one. So look, back in S rating is 80 or above. back in S, so could be worse. But overall, that race wasn't that great. But I hope you at least enjoyed the video. You know, a bit of a bit of a downer today, but not to worry. Hopefully, the next few videos I've got planned are much better than this. So do hit the like button if you enjoyed, and do subscribe if you would like to see more videos from me. And leave a comment too if you've got some comments, questions, or constructive criticisms. I try to answer all of them. So yes, please do that. But that's going to be the end of this one today, and that means that is it from me. So once again, I do thank you very much for watching. See you later.